Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. You turn this down. All right. How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right.
That's good to hear.
So I guess for introductions, my name is Stephanie Jack, and this is the Rose Golden Hour. This is a very special episode because it is the final episode of 2020. I started this live series the day before my son's fifth birthday, and I did it just kind of on a whim. It started out as something that was just an idea, and I manifested to have 10 episodes so far, including this one. And I'm super excited for this one in particular because I have another individual who I did attend high school with. And so, Miss Jasmin Velasquez, and we are talking about the struggles of pregnancy, postpartum depression, and how that ties into life as a mother as well. So yeah, if you want to say some things about yourself as well.
Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining in. My name is Jasmin Velasquez, and I'm a stay-at-home mother.
Beautiful. Um, so what words do you use to describe yourself?
To describe myself, that's hard. I'm not really good at describing myself, but I would say I'm a joyful person. Um, I would say energetic at times. um, um, I can't think of the word that I had in my mind right now, but those are the main ones that I would say.
Yeah, I feel like that's good enough. Um, and so how many children do you have? How old are they?
I have two boys. The oldest is 7, and the youngest is 5.
Okay.
I had to think about that.
Yes, I have to do that too. Sometimes I forget. Um, and so with that, what has motherhood been like for you? I guess we should start right now in 2020. How has this year been for you as a mom?
This year has been tough. I think everyone can relate. Um, I had to homeschool my kids since this pandemic started, and I also started school. So it's been a little hectic trying to keep up with their schoolwork and my schoolwork. And I have to
Mm,
turn everything in at a certain time, and it sometimes overwhelms me so much because it's like I'm not used to so much pushed in at myself sometimes.
I agree. I would say because I'm not currently in school, but having to do entrepreneur work and trying to, promote my business, that added into being basically a teacher or an at-home teacher for my child. I do feel that stress when you see the deadlines of the little assignments, and these are the most, well, in my case, these are the most simple assignments, but they have so many deadlines and it's so many different things that you have to do. And I feel like a lot of times because the teachers don't see what you do at home, it kind of makes you feel like you're failing in a sense, even though you know you're present, you know that you're
Yes.
engaging with your child. It seems like on the school side of things, it's like, oh, you're not meeting this quota. Because I feel like a lot of times on my end, I don't always turn the homework in on time, or I don't always force my child to do the same things over and over. I want to kind of give him that freedom. But then
Yes.
to them, they think, oh, well, I'm slacking or I'm not being present in his life.
Yes.
That's far from the truth.
Yes. Exactly how I feel.
Um, and so tell me about, I guess, before 2020. How was the transition into motherhood when you first became a mom, um, and to now? How was your birth experiences, and how has that affected you in the current moment?
Starting off, well, I became a mom at 19, I think. So I know, it was pretty hard. It was pretty hard because at that time my husband and I had just gotten married. He was working so much at that time. I was struggling with my pregnancies because I I kept getting infections, and I couldn't understand why I kept getting infections. And it got to the point where the doctor said that I had to get a C-section because um, of the infection that got bad. So it it I made me depressed because I felt like I wasn't taking care of myself like I should when I knew I could have done better.
Mm.
So um, with my first child, after I had him and everything, it was thank God I had the help of my mother-in-law because she helped me in so much that with my pregnancy afterwards because she knew exactly what I went what I was going through. She went through the same thing because she had a C-section. So I'm so grateful with my mother-in-law because of that. And but I was still depressed because my husband wasn't there and I needed my husband for so many of those things. He was always working. He he um he tried. He really tried sometimes, but sometimes to me it wasn't enough. I don't know if I was being a bad wife in that sense, but I just needed my husband at that time. Um the second pregnancy, it was a little tough as well because that's when I started getting my asthma started acting up. So with my asthma, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was having trouble sleeping in my early pregnancy. Um, I tried all the home remedies that my mom would tell me about, that my mother-in-law would tell me about. It was I don't know, maybe it was like anxiety too because of the fact that I couldn't breathe as well as I could. Um, and I had to get another C-section because an infection came back with the second one again, and also because the doctor recommended C-section for the second one as well. S and again, the depression came back. Everything started coming back again. My husband, very hardworking. I love my husband. He's very hardworking, and I appreciate him for that. But at those times, those first 2 months, I really needed him. I needed him with me, helping me with my kids. It's been this past few years have been really hard being a mother. So um, I just try not to overwhelm myself, not to overwhelm myself with so many tasks that I have with my kids.
Mm. I feel that it really is a lot packed into that because I wouldn't say that you were a bad wife or that you weren't doing the things that you needed to do. You worked with what you had at the time. I would say that because of the infections, are these infections that came from like your uterus? Was it something that they explained to you?
They were they were a lot of UTIs. There were a lot of UTIs.
Yeah.
And I tried eating as healthy as possible as I could. Sometimes I don't know, maybe I wasn't doing something that I was supposed to do. I don't know. I didn't at that time I wasn't so aware of asking so many questions to my doctors. So that's why I really didn't pay that much attention to it, which I should have.
Yes. And of course, in hindsight, in the things that we learn now as we go, it's like, oh, I could have, or these are the things that I could have been more aware of. But I think that that's also a part of healing, because you, myself, and many other mothers that I've met, um, it's all a part of, just grappling with the traumatic aspects of birth, the parts of birth where you felt like you didn't do the best that you could, or you felt where you didn't have the support that you needed, processing those things through time, of course, and having fellow people that have experienced similar things as far as birth or having a cesarean section as well, helps with that, as well as therapy too, because I am someone that actively sees someone, or sees a therapist to process not just my births, but things that I go through throughout my life. And I think that as far as your marriage too, that's one side of it that people don't really look at, because you can be married and you can have, this union, but then a lot of times you are, in a lot of ways, the only parent present for your children and doing a lot of the things on your end. And it's very hard to do on your own, because yes, you may have had your mother-in-law, but there are so many different ways that a parent or a new mom needs that support, which I know now as a doula, um, that needs to be addressed. So I definitely resonate with you on that. Somebody says, what's going on here? So this is the Rose Golden Hour live series, and we are talking about the struggles of postpartum depression and pregnancy and motherhood all the way through. So if you're new popping in, um, so tell me about, specifically with the hardships or the struggles that you've had to face, because you told me a lot about, um, as far as your children and their speech therapy and different things that you've had to tackle in the midst of, being a stay-at-home mom. So what are those hardships like for you?
So, well, I think we started noticing, um, my oldest was a year and a half and he still wasn't talking. He was just saying mom and dad. He wasn't giving me, um, some of the words that the doctors would tell me that he needs to be saying already. And I started getting a little worried, and that's when they started telling me that he needs speech therapy, he needs a little help. And that's, my depression started coming back again because I felt like I wasn't being a good mother. I wasn't teaching him the right things that he needs to learn. So he had to get speech therapy. He still has it. Um, but his speech is so much better now. So much better. He can give me he fights back with me all the time now. And I'm so happy because of that, but sometimes he needs to tone it down.
Yeah.
But um and on top of that, my 5-year-old started developing the same thing, speech therapy. He also needed help, and I felt like I was giving more attention to the first one, and the second one I was leaving him behind because I was trying to focus on the first one first. So I guess the back to back of my kids was a little tough on me. Well, a lot actually. And I tried. I um I did the same thing with my little one. He got into speech therapy. He went to a specialist to make sure that he didn't have any other any other things. Um, so far the specialist said he had, I'm trying to remember the word. He might develop apraxia. I think that's how you say
Oh,
it. Apraxia. It's a motor skill that has to do with not pronouncing the letters right because they can't figure it out. Something like that. I can't really remember it all at the top of my head.
mhm.
But he basically, we just have to keep an eye on him to see how he's doing. He's doing much better too. He just has a little trouble trying to say his words. So hopefully he'll get better with that.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah.
A lot of the things with kids, especially the ones that are our age, it's kind of a waiting game as far as
Hmm.
like, what's going to happen and not. And you're just encouraging that, because the speech therapy in itself is like a conditioning, so that they are practicing those mechanisms to help with the speech itself. Because the only thing that I've dealt with my son that was kind of like an alarming situation for me was that he had it's called nystagmus, where his eyes will move fast, like back and forth, and so his vision is blurry. So that means that up close he can see somewhat, but far away it was hard for him, and so it just ultimately means that he may need to wear glasses for the rest of his life, or whatever the case. But when he was much younger, it was a lot of like going to go get MRIs done, and that was something that I wasn't used to dealing with. And he's been wearing glasses for a very long time, and there's still concern for that, because now that he's 5, he's breaking them and not wearing them, and so we have that concern of like, oh God, what's going to happen to his vision? But he's fine for the most part. But when it comes to the concern that you have as a mom, you got to kind of bring it back a little bit, because we can over worry sometimes, but
Yes.
it's all coming from the right place though.
Yes. Yes.
um, so now that we've talked about some hardships and some struggles that you faced as a mom, what are some positives? What are some victories that you believe that you have experienced, whether it be now or in the past as a mom?
Some of the victories that I do see are with my kids. My kids have been able to speak to me so much more. Like I was saying, they even argue with me. They fight back with me, and I'm so happy that they can do that. But sometimes I just calm down, tone it down.
Yeah.
But really, really, that's my main accomplishment, because I feel like I struggled a lot with it, and me not knowing. I tried searching up a lot of things and what to do and everything. People would help me out as well, but it doing it at the same with both at the same time sometimes, or different times, it's really hard. It's tough. Some they don't. My oldest, he's not very good with giving me eye contact. Not really good at all. And the school is saying that he might have autism. Like, he shows a little signs of it, of autism. But I feel like it's getting better. Um, that's the only thing that he has. His eye contact, not good at all. He doesn't give it to me. But other than that, I feel like their speech has been my greatest accomplishment so far.
um, One of the things that you did tell me was that through motherhood, um, it's been a positive, in a sense, it's been a positive motivation to pursue your goals. So what goals do you have that you've been striving towards?
Right now, I am going to school for accounting, and that's one of the goals that I want to see come through with me, because I've gone to school before I got pregnant, and I didn't go through with it. So right now, I did great this past semester. Hopefully next semester will be this better. And right, well, I'm barely starting, but so far I feel like I'm getting the hang of it.
Of course. Yeah. I don't even know how I would be able to handle school on top of everything that I have going on. So I commend you on that. Um,
Thank you.
but again, I do understand how it can be overbearing, because you have to manage so much at once. And I was just talking with my friend Tiana in our live yesterday about the fact that um, moms or mothers tend to work 98 hours a week just on what we do as moms alone. So if we could just imagine what you're doing, then add on school on top of that. So I have to, give you your props because, and give myself props too. But, I really want you to really realize how much work you're doing and the fact that, it's okay to lean on one another and, build community and things. I think that's one of the things I've learned this year because I have that super mom mentality and I've had to work through that. um, so I want to touch on postpartum depression, mainly because you mentioned in the beginning that you were experiencing symptoms of depression in both of your pregnancies and both of the postpartum journeys in those, and in the fact that I am the same in that where I have experienced prenatal as well as postpartum depression with both of my children. And so I just want to talk about that and have space for that quickly before we jump into the next thing so that we can really process what that means. And so, did you ever go to therapy? Did you ever really know what postpartum depression was, or if that was what you were experiencing?
Um, I didn't know that I was experiencing postpartum depression until I started talking to my OBGYN. She started telling me, I think you need to see somebody. Um, and I tried, I really tried with both of my pregnancies, after pregnancy, but the insurance wasn't helping me out at all. And I was trying to to find a therapist that could help me, but every time I would call a therapist, like they wouldn't give me much information. So I don't know if it was because I was calling the people on my insurance, or I really don't know what it was. But I really did try to look for a therapist because I did I would have to say that my depression, my postpartum depression was bad. I feel like it was. My husband would tell me that I need to see somebody if I really need it, because it got to a point where I just wanted to end it, like even having my kids. But I managed through it, and I thank God I managed through it.
Yeah. Um, I would say that the insurance aspect can create, or it's created stress upon me just as much as anything else. I would say Nopo, Nopo, I do not even want to mess up that name. They say that they
Uh,
love you and you are so strong. Um,
that's my best friend.
yes, thank you, best friend. I would say that because for me, I have experience with insurance through like my parents because I've been a dependent under my mom's insurance, as well as I've done the Medicaid aspect for pregnancy and all of that. And I could say within the span of from 2015 to now, there's a drastic change in what you are or what I've been able to get as far as services because the I've seen like one person, and then the next thing you know, they want to charge you $1,000 just to see them. Or, I've been in a few groups, but then it wasn't enough to really touch home with the things that I was actually experiencing. And so now, during the pandemic in itself, after I gave birth to my daughter, I started seeing a therapist through Life's Journey Counseling, which is a location here in Houston. And so I've been seeing her virtually for a very good while, and it's covered through the insurance, and it's called Healthy Texas Women's, which is what you typically get once you're in the postpartum and you're done having your baby. It switches over to that, and it started to extend itself once we were going through COVID, and it was like really crazy because out here in Texas, the COVID numbers are like astronomical because we just got a Amber Alert message
Oh
about
yeah, I saw that.
today. So, I'll check in and my benefits will continue to extend, and I'm still seeing this therapist. And I can only think that it's happening because of the fact that I've needed therapy for so long and I've needed something that was consistent. I also love the fact that this particular therapist, we have things in common. Like, she's a woman of color, she has children, she is a businesswoman. So there are things that she can connect with me on, and it's helped me so much. But aside from that, I do want to hold space for you and validate your emotions that you feel because, like I said before, my postpartum depression was rooted in the things that I was feeling during my pregnancy. And a lot of times, moms or just people in general, we don't think about how the emotions and the thoughts that you feel are internalized throughout your pregnancy. And so that is connected to everything that you feel before. It's not anything new. It's just that once you are transitioning into, oh, I have a new baby, I'm, a mom now, all of those things are amplified that caused you stress before. And so for me, I felt a number of emotions. I know specifically in my first pregnancy, I had suicidal thoughts. And that's not to say that every person that has postpartum depression feels like they want to kill themselves. But I did make plans to run away. I made plans to like end my life and things because of the situation I was in. And I didn't feel like I had a solution that was beneficial enough. Um, and I would say that it transitioned into the the other side of motherhood where you have overbearing family that puts in their opinions and try to
Mhm.
control. So that was a huge part of my depression as well. And I would say that it can be anything as just like not feeling like doing anything, just wanting to sit around, or um, lack of appetite. It's a number of symptoms, but it truly is triggered by not having the true support that you need. I really feel like,
Yeah.
and I would say now, being pregnant for a third time, the initial thoughts that I feel are thoughts, negative thoughts that have been told to me through my first two pregnancies. Or, even though I know I'm in a better place, the depression or the things that are symptomatic for depression are there. And I have to work through those things. So, um, I want you to know that I resonate with you because I have been in those spaces, and I currently am someone that is actively healing um, through my depression. So my heart is with you for sure.
Thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. This is like the only space where I talk about my pregnancies, which is very um, bizarre because technically my family doesn't know, and for good reason. I'm trying to protect myself, but a lot of my family members are on the social media, so if they pop in, yay, you found out that I'm pregnant. But for the most part, I feel like this is a safer space because I control it to a certain extent, but I know that the people that watch are here to share space with me and share love and that support that I truly need. So yeah.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
Egan0722 says she loves you.
That's my sister.
Yes, I'm loving it. So let's talk about support, and then we'll segue into marriage. So have you, besides your mother-in-law for the first C-section, what support have you had throughout this time being a mom? Like, who has consistently been there with you or giving you some type of support throughout this time as a mom?
My sister. My sister has helped me a lot. My husband is changing a lot. He's helping me. Um, he's helping me a lot with my kids now, with our kids. He he helps me with their homework. He helps me when I go to school, takes care of them. My sister can help me um the same whenever I need help with my kids to watch. Um My mom is helping out a lot now because before she just like she would just be she didn't want to.
Yeah.
So now she's like in falling in love with my kids so much that she said that it's that they're her kids. I'm like, okay, that's fine as long as you take care of them.
Wow. Because we did this initial interview, I want to say like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And so when I was interviewing you and I asked you about that, it was like no one was support. And what I want to say, what changed with your mom, or what made your mom decide like, oh, I want to actually have that relationship with my grandchildren. I actually want to like be present in that aspect. Um, someone, so Nopo says, I wish I was there to help you. Egan says, my mom was very negative, basically. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, now I got it.
Really, I don't know what changed in her. I really don't. She just wants to be with my kids at all times. She like fell in love with my kids. She's always wanting to take care of them. The little one especially because my oldest one, he's like, I don't like you, Grandma. I don't know why he's saying that to her, but I think I know it's bad, but it's funny to me that he says that to her. But I know he doesn't mean it. He really does love her.
No,
But
I actually don't, because honestly, children say things for a reason. And I feel like we need to respect their boundaries sometimes. And so, like, yes, it's like, wow, he just said he didn't like his grandma. But it's also a reflection of them needing to have that relationship worked on as
yes.
well. Just like with my son, literally the same. Like my mom loves her grandchildren, of course, but and my son knows her, but it's like if he doesn't want to hug, he just doesn't want to hug right now, and you just
Mm-hmm.
have to give them that space. It's similar to
Yes.
that, and when they get more comfortable and they want to, be up under you, or they want to engage, it's a reflection of how comfortable they feel with you. And so, I feel no issue with it because of the fact that I have children and I know what that's like. So it's all good. He see he sees my mom favorite the baby. LOL. Okay.
My baby, she sees him as a favorite.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah,
Um,
that's
my
pretty much how it is with same over here. My daughter is the one that's catching all of the extra love and whatnot. But
yeah.
so and it's surprising too because of how your husband has shifted as well with the support, because it kind of felt like for you that um I feel like there was some resentment there too, which I would say is valid because of the fact that you went through your pregnancy, you went through, going through the postpartum and all of that alone, and then parenting for a very long time alone for the most part. And him not being present in the ways that you need to. And I know that you said that he worked for a good part of the was it at night?
Yes, he
Yeah.
was working night shifts, so though those were during after pregnancy, those were the hardest because baby needs a lot of attention at night. Um, but now he's working day shifts.
Okay.
Um, and ever since I started school, because I think whenever you interviewed me, it was before I started getting to the hang of school.
Mm.
So now, after I finished this semester, he helped me out in so many ways that I never thought he was gonna be able to.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Um, thank you.
Yeah, because I feel like that's something that that moms go through when if you have a partnership and you have a marriage and you're trying to make that work and you have children. One of the big aspects can be how both of you are going to balance the children. And so I've had it to where my partner worked graveyard shift. So he was gone all night, came early in the morning, slept the entire day. So it was like, I'm the one that's like engaging with the child. And then like, I couldn't really get him to do more than the things that he was comfortable with doing. Now, that was in the beginning. Now it's like, I'm a businesswoman. I'm doing, working mainly on the outside of the home as well as the inside of the home. He's balancing two children, plus he's like tackling all, like I come home, the house is clean, and just,
Yes.
things that you hadn't had in the beginning. It's a huge shift now. And so it takes time. And of course, you will tell them, you will say, like, hey, I need you to do these things. And sometimes it comes off like, oh, you told me to do this already. Or it has to be something that they decide to do. And then when they see how much of a benefit it brings to you, and how that essentially benefits the whole family, um, it makes it easier. So I'm super happy for you, happy for myself. So it just gets easier from there in that aspect. And so another thing we talked about was the fact that your husband wanted another baby, and how you felt about that. How has that changed
No.
since then?
He still he he really wants a daughter. He really wants a daughter. And I think he just fell in love with my sister's daughter. And my sister's daughter still calls him dad.
Oh wow.
And I think I think it's just that fact that we don't have a daughter. We just have, this house is full of guys. My mom and myself are the only woman here, so he still wants that little girl. But personally, I'm not ready. Not now. I
Of
think
course.
maybe in 3 years. 3 years, I think I'll be ready. Maybe.
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 We leave that door open. If you feel
Yeah.
this way, definitely give yourself that time. The one thing I would like to ask you though is that um if, like, let's say you had the support, like the full-fledged support that you would like to have to be able to support you during a pregnancy and a birth, and maybe you added a doula in there, maybe you knew all of the things that you needed to know to prepare yourself for birth and things like that. Let's say 3 years from now, or 5 years, or whenever you feel like you're ready to have a baby, if you have that support, do you feel like that would change um, the outlook that you would have on being a mom again?
So I'm glad you brought that up because my husband and I were talking about that the other day, and I was telling him, I think if I would have known about doulas, about birth workers, when I was pregnant, I would have for sure hired one because I knew I needed one at that time. So I was telling my husband, I think I'm gonna hire a birth worker, a doula, to help me out in my next pregnancy I ever if I ever decide that I'm ready, because I feel that I am gonna need help. Um, I feel like I'm gonna start um I'm gonna go through the same things that I went through my first two pregnancies, and I'm scared. That's the main reason why I don't want to. I'm not ready right now.
Yeah.
So and that's one thing that I don't want to go through again because it was hard. It was really hard for me. And my husband has been changing a lot. He's been so helpful, so kind lately. Maybe maybe because he really wants that daughter.
Oh my God. I hope
But
not. That's not for the. That's not enough, sir.
he's been telling me I'll change. I'll give you everything you want. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to change everything.
Yeah, change literally everything. But of course, having that open communication. But
Yes.
back to your point, as far as the pregnancies, because I feel like, of course, like I'm somebody that has experienced childbirth trauma. I'm someone that I had people in the room, but those people that were in the room to support me had no idea what they were doing. So they weren't the best people to support me. And then in the postpartum, I did not have people present that were equipped to support only me, and the focus being only on me, because a lot of times we're being told that the focus is on the baby and the baby shower and all of these other things that are supposed to be more important than the well-being of the mother, who without the without the mom, the baby is not going to flourish or be at their best anyway. And so with that being the case, going into a pregnancy again is very fearful for me, because I feel like I want to actually enjoy my pregnancy. I want to not think about how other people are judging me. I don't want to think about how if I go into a hospital space, I am at risk of trauma, I'm at risk of death, I'm at risk of all of these different things. And I want to truly be in tune with my body. That's the one thing that I felt, because I feel like I am in tune to where I knew that I was pregnant at 5 weeks, and I can feel them moving around in there. Like I was that much in tune, but I was lacking in other areas to where I would have known to do certain things to prepare my body for labor so that it wouldn't be so painful, or so that, I wouldn't rush to the hospital when I should have been laboring at home and going through those contractions and not running in fear. Um, so I understand where you're coming from with that, because you can feel so many different things, and all of the things that you internalized in your previous pregnancies will show up again, and you will have to address those things as they come. And it's good to start addressing those things now and to develop your community now, because I think that everything in my life has happened specifically for this particular journey that I'm about to go on. Like I literally have befriended so many women, and they're all doulas. Like, what is the chance of that? Or that, I have won giveaways, and those giveaways were solely breastfeeding, supplies, and all the different things that you would think that someone would need as a new mom, and it's for me.
Yes.
So I agree. And I'm someone that has a doula. So I definitely feel like it's important. And it's interesting too, because one of the things that moms that have had, you may be on your second or third child, when you get pregnant again, a lot of individuals will feel like, oh, well, I don't need a doula because I've already done this, times before. So I
Mhm.
don't need somebody else to tell me about something that I've experienced before. But you may not have known everything that happens inside your body. You may not know the current policies that hospitals have. Now that we have COVID-19, those things change,
Yeah.
where you can probably have one person in the room where tomorrow it may be different. A doula, what is a doula? So a doula is someone that supports you through your pregnancy, birth, postpartum. It's so many different kinds of doulas, but specifically the more common one is for birth. And so I know specifically for me, um, I would be, suggesting ways to get yourself educated on what childbirth looks like. I would be recommending ways to educate your significant other, the people that are closest to you that would support you through your postpartum, how to prepare for all of that so that you don't experience traumas. And what ends up happening is when you have women of color, so you have black birthing people, and then you have Hispanic right under that, and we are the ones that are suffering the most in hospital spaces, and a lot of us are dying. And it is because we are trusting doctors, and we're not actually asking questions, we're not making preparations beforehand, and we're just trusting people blindly. And so doulas come in as advocates as well, because you can be in a situation where you may have wanted one thing, the doctor comes in and changes things up, or they may do something that actually isn't protocol. And that doula is able to identify that and make it apparent to you, because you're in the middle of contractions. So you're like, oh, I'm just focused on having a baby. And the doula can make that apparent to you, your husband, or whoever is present, so that they can address the medical staff as well. So doulas are very beneficial, and there are sibling doulas. So if you have multiple kids. You can have a specific doula there to, you know, support your children. There are doulas for women that experience pregnancy and infant loss, because it's not just birth. We have women that experience abortion, adoption, miscarriage, stillbirth, and you need to be supported through any aspect that you go through. Absolutely, I completely agree. As a human, you want to trust your doctor and nurses, of course. And the thing with that is they go to school, but you're not learning everything about what true hospital care is supposed to look like. It's supposed to be community-based care. And you're being taught what the hospital or what the business side of the medical aspect is to get you in and out. For example, cesarean sections actually pay them more. Like it costs more to get a cesarean. So a lot of times they're lining up the cesareans for that reason. There's also reasons for, oh, I'm going to go on vacation this week, so I'm going to schedule that. Or hey, Christmas is coming up. I'm going to schedule your pregnancy to come, your birth to come a few weeks before Christmas or something like that. So yeah, do some research on doulas before I go on a rant, a further rant. Um,
But
let's talk
it's
about,
interesting to know about this too, because
yes, for sure. Yes, I love talking about it because people need to know about it. And I, of
yes,
course, didn't know what a doula was until way after I gave birth to my second child. And that was a 4-year span. And so now that I know, I can make informed decisions as well as be able to tell myself, hey, you need support even though you're a
yes,
doula. Because even though I am one, I'm still at risk of things happening. So
yes.
it's very important to have that support. Um, let's so we talked about feelings and birth control. So um, tell me about your experience with birth control.
Well, at the moment, I have, what is it called? Next planning?
Nexplanon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Okay. I have that one. So far, it's worked. I haven't gotten pregnant, so that's a good part. But I have developed cysts in my ovaries, and the doctor does want to change that um, to a pill. But I'm really bad with pills. I forget to take them,
Yeah.
and I used to take the pill with my I would say before I got pregnant with the second one. Um, sorry. And that's how I got pregnant with my second one
Yeah.
because I forgot to take it. And after my sec no, after my first as well, I did do the shot, the one that goes every 3 months, I think.
Mhm.
That got me very swollen. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Defo.
yeah, yeah, there you go. That one did not work at all. So I
Mhm.
stopped taking that one. But the one that the doctor also recommends is what is it called? It's the one that's in a T shape.
Yeah.
Um, I
Is
don't
that the one
know.
that goes in vaginally? Because that one
Yes,
is in a T
yes,
shape for the arm as well.
yes. It's the one that goes in vaginally. That's what he said.
Yes. And I think that's like the 5-year one, I believe,
Right?
if I'm
Yeah, I
not mistaken.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm scared of that one because I've heard so many people tell me that it's falling off or they get a lot of UTIs with them, and
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe all those negative thoughts have like got me paranoid with that one. But the doctor says that he's never heard of anyone get a UTI with him. Um and he really recommends that one for me. But I don't know, I feel like I need to do more research on that one.
I agree. I agree. You should do your own due diligence and do your actual
Yes.
research before you make any decision, because, um, of course, you can get stories from other people, but your body is different and you may not have negative effects. And you definitely can have effects that you may not even realize, or you can have some that you definitely see. I experienced that the birth control that you do have, I had that in my arm for 3 years. Um, And the negative effects I experienced was having menstrual cycles that lasted more than a month. Like I would be
Yes.
bleeding for like a month and a half, and then I'd be off for like a few weeks, and then I'd be bleeding again. And my cramps and things were very intense, and there was a lot that wrapped into that. And I went and got it removed and never went back, obviously, because I got pregnant again like a year later. And but what I will say or will recommend, um, simply because I have done it, but you know, you can do research on this as well, is called yoni steaming. And so yoni steaming is where you are boiling herbs, and certain herbs have different medicinal properties, and you would be boiling those herbs in the oil that comes out with the steam. It travels up the vaginal canal and it goes up to your uterus, and it all of the healing properties or the different properties that it has, it contributes to many benefits where it can help with cystic fibrosis. So if you do have cysts, it helps with UTIs. It helps with irregular bleeding. So if you have a lot of bleeding, that was one of the things that I did experience where I had that month and a half bleeding. It went down to about 3 days, or it would be so light I wouldn't even notice that my cycle had started. Now, yoni steaming is not the same as they have these little yoni detox pearls. That's not the same. It's literally buying herbs, boiling them, and then steaming. There are so many women that I know that offer yoni steaming services, um, including Life of an Herb Wife. We have Eden's Garden yoni steams or V steams, and they have like feminine washes and things like that. Another aspect of that is your diet as well. So if you are eating a lot of unhealthy foods, that contributes to your cramps. It contributes to that heavy flow as well. And yeah, for somebody that has experienced birth control and someone that has consciously decided not to go with birth control as well, I respect whatever decisions you choose to do. And I just recommend that you do accurate research on what those particular options are versus just what your doctor's saying or versus what
Yeah.
other people are telling you. Um, yes. Oh, yeah. So some people had some comments. Let me read those really quick. Nopo says, I had no idea. They don't really teach you these things. No, they definitely don't. I remember being in labor with my son. This is G. Amaris. I remember being in labor with my son and agreeing with the doctors and nurses because they wanted to use the vacuum to get him out. This pregnancy, I did hire a doula. Congratulations. I'm so happy that you have a doula. That is like literally the best step that you could have taken to ensure that you have the most empowering birth that you can have. So congratulations to you, and I'm sending you peace, love, and you know, the best for your birth outcome and your postpartum as well, Queen. And um, as far as like the agreeing with the vacuum and stuff like that, it can be hard because I go back in time and I'll like relive those moments of like I was just nodding my head yes and had no idea what the doctor was talking about, or I sat in an appointment for like 15 minutes and I didn't ask enough questions, or you know, right in
Mm-hmm.
the middle of birth I was experiencing this and no one cared, or whatever the case. And I think that it's very, very important to process the things that you experience, and just continue to educate yourself, because
Yes.
of course you can only do with what you have. But I feel like as we go along in life, just continuing to inform yourself. And I recommend watching any of my lives before this, because I interview a lot of birth workers and we talk about so many different things. Sorry, that was a typo. I was arguing with them. That makes more sense. I wouldn't let them use the vacuum. Hell no, because the vacuum does have a lot of negative aspects to it, and depending on what the birth situation was, there are other alternatives, of course. And that's why when you are giving birth, or before you even give birth, and they are recommending things to you, it's best to ask them, what are the benefits of this thing you're recommending? What are the risks? And what are the alternatives? And if I decide I don't want to do it, I'm going to say no. Ultimately, no. Yeah. Let's see. So let's talk about self-care. What have you been doing lately? Because you told me that you love to go and get your hair done. So do
Yes.
you do anything else besides that as a form of self-care?
Well, been, I've been, did go get a facial done.
Okay.
I need to go get another one.
How was
Uh,
it? Well, how
it
was that experience? Was that like
That
the
was
first
the
time you ever got one?
first time ever, and she was the best. She was really the best. She knew what she was doing. She didn't make me feel uncomfortable in any kind of way. And I told her that my lips, it's so weird. My lips are allergic to mint, but
Hmm.
not my face because I put mint on my face and I chew gum, but it's only my lips. I
Yeah.
don't know, it's weird. But she was very respectful of that. So she was very great, very great. Her name is Samantha Placencia. I think that's her last name.
Does
Um,
she have Instagram?
yes, her Instagram is the Beauty Encounter.
Okay.
The Beauty
Send
Encounter.
me her page and I'm going to add her in the caption for this live because any businesses, any individuals that we mention, I love to promote those businesses as well, especially if they are black or brown businesses. I love to promote those individuals as well. So I'm glad that you had a beautiful experience. I would love to see what that's about. And I did have my first facial experience and it was with Adana Ade of We Are Sharu. And that was like nothing that I had ever experienced because I thought I was literally just gonna go and get a facial, but I went in and got an experience, and it's I don't know any other way to explain that. Like I got, she had like it was a facial steam, and there was like
Mhm.
some card readings, there was some massage. It was like a lot infused in that, and I was not expecting it, and I loved every moment of it, and I'm definitely gonna do that again. So send me her details so I can add her below,
Okay.
and yeah, I'm excited to see that you're trying new things as far as ways to tap into your self care. Are there any things that you do that are in the home to give yourself some like me time? Because I know a lot of times it's hard to get out of the house.
Oh, yes. Sometimes I go into my shower. I don't take what is it called?
Bath.
Yeah, bath. There you go. I don't take bath, but I do take showers, and I use I started using this body wash that's for stress.
Mm,
I take my time in the shower. The kids are in their own little world. What was that ingredient? It's so hard for me to pronounce. Eucalyptus,
eucalyptus.
uh, something like that. Yeah, it's for stress, and I love the smell of it. It's like so calming to me.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that. I've been taking also
Okay.
herbal teas. I've been
What
taking
kind
them.
of herbal teas do you drink?
Some of them are just simple ones. Like, um, um, there's one that my mom gives me. It's called chamomile,
Chamomile. Okay.
chamomile. Also, once in a while, because ginger is really strong.
Hmm.
Ginger and lemon. I tried drinking those because they're the ginger's strong for me. I don't know if anyone else, but ginger is very
It
strong.
is. It can be for sure. I have to add other things sometimes, but I do like to drink my tea straight with no added stuff in it. But I do when ginger gets to be too much, I'll put other stuff in. But
Yeah.
chamomile, lavender, all of those things. Even if you side note, even if you don't yoni steam, like sit over the steam, you can drink it as a tea, and it still has those benefits to it as well. So chamomile is very good.
Okay.
Um,
Um, al-
yes.
I also do a bay leaf one.
Okay. I have some.
It's just the bay leaves that I think that's what it's called. Because in Spanish they're hojas de laurel.
Okay.
So I think that those are Baileys. I have to double check on those, but it's just the Baileys that I put in the water to boil, just like that.
Um, and so let's see. I think that was everything because we just touched on self care. Have you gotten your hair done again recently?
Yes, it went a little. I'm going a little grayish. I don't know if you can see it,
I
but
can't, and I love it either way because I feel like I'm gonna embrace the grays. I'm excited to see what I'm gonna look like because so many people have not felt good about it. I'm ready to feel good about it.
yes.
Loving this turban. Thank you so much, Bree. I love you.
Oh, that's what it's called.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
it's a hair scarf, and I got a little piece of my hair sticking out. But
Yeah,
yes,
I love it.
thank
I
you.
I thought it was because I know Indian girls use the hit
Yeah,
hit.
they have the
I
headdress
was
and all of that too.
yeah, yeah.
And it's
I
different names.
it's
I don't know. I call them hair scarves, hair wraps,
yeah,
and hair
yeah.
dress.
But it's really beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank
Um,
you.
let's see. I think that was everything, Queen. I really appreciate you. Is there anything else that you would like to express? How do you feel now that you finally done your live? Because you have attended almost every live that I've ever done, and you are always there. Um, so
I try to keep
how are you
myself
feeling?
informed. At first, before we started, I was talking to my best friend about this, and I was like, I'm a little nervous, so I was trying to calm down a little bit, but it was smooth. Good thing. Um, I personally, I just I for my one of my classes that I did, they asked me what's like a good motivation for you? I put I keep moving forward. Don't let yourself down and be successful. Try keep trying and keep trying until you feel like you've succeeded.
I love that. I love the aspect of keep trying because everybody's aspect of success is going to be different. And
Yes.
I think that, of course, going into the new year um, and how we handle things every single day is important. And I think that um, just trying, like just getting
Yes.
up to try, even if you don't get through the entire day, like whatever you choose to do to move towards your highest potential of whatever that means to you. And so I think that that's a perfect way to end the Rose Golden Hour series. I am so happy that you were my final episode of this year. I do not know what the future holds, and I don't know what the next series is going to look like. But I am grateful that I was able to successfully make it through 3 months of lives. I did have a few episodes that did not make it, but they will be coming back at different times or
Yes.
manifesting themselves in new series, and that's perfect. So I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful to every single person that has been a guest on my series. I'm thankful to everyone that watched all the way through to the end, anybody that stopped in, and anyone that catches the replay. This was the Rose Golden Hour live series, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. See y'all soon.